Before Donald Glover was a household name, and before internet comedy was mainstream, there was Derrick Comedy, a group that shaped an entire generation of online humor. If you don't recognize the name, you've definitely seen their work, be it the edgy new swear word they created for National Spelling Bee.
Your word is
I'm sorry, what?
Which iDubbbz famously stole for his YouTube channel for a while.
Hi, my name's Ian, and I'm a
Or the absolute absurdity of Piano Kid.
Cool. Check it out. All right. Kick it. Cool. Get down. Right. Kick it. Cool. Check it out. All right. Kick it. If I mess up, my dad's gonna beat me.
Their sketches left a lasting impact on internet comedy. Filled with dark humor, rapid-fire dialogue, and ridiculous premises, they built up a dedicated fan base.
Little Bow Wow's in there?
Most of them. The birds got to the rest.
And honestly, them along with the whitest kids you know basically crafted my taste in comedy. Rest in peace, Trevor Moore. Their videos were so good they basically paved the way for future sketch comedy groups you likely do remember the name of, like College Humor. But Derrick Comedy didn't just stop at viral sketches, they took on something almost unheard of at the time, making a full-length feature film, and completely independently. And that film was Mystery Team, a bizarre, hilarious, and deeply nostalgic comedy that still holds up today, at least in my opinion. So let's explore how Derrick Comedy started, what made them stand out, and how their internet success led to an ambitious filmmaking endeavor. Derrick Comedy formed its roots at NYU, where Donald Glover, DC Pearson, and Dominic Dierks met through the college's improv and comedy scene. The group was joined by Dan Ekman and Maggie McFadden, an upcoming filmmaking duo, to help produce and direct the group's projects. Unlike traditional comedy troupes at the time that relied on live performances, Derrick Comedy saw the potential in the internet early. They began uploading short, professionally shot comedy sketches to YouTube, taking advantage of the platform just as it was becoming a cultural phenomenon. And it worked out perfectly for them. Their sketch comedy was perfect for YouTube. Fast, irreverent, unpredictable. Their videos like Bro Rape, which parodied investigative journalism exposés.
Let's chill and play GameCube. By the way, bro, I always take my pants off to play GameCube, so I hope that's cool.
And Girls Are Not to Be Trusted, which twisted rom-com tropes into absurdity, quickly gained millions of views. What set Derrick Comedy apart was their willingness to embrace darker and edgier humor. And since they were all acting students, all their sketches had surprisingly strong performances. And I think their group really shows the importance of collaboration in art such as film or comedy. Their success wasn't just accidental. Each member played a specific role in the group's creative process, ensuring that their work had a distinct, polished feel compared to other amateur YouTube comedians at the time. Donald Glover, who's now known for his sharp writing and comedic timing, often took lead roles in their sketches, bringing a level of charisma and vulnerability that grounded the absurdity of their humor. DC Pearson's quick wit and ability to deliver dry, offbeat humor made him the perfect foil to Glover's energetic performances, adding an element of unpredictability to their sketches. And Dominic Dierks brought a unique sense of awkwardness and deadpan delivery, which became a key part of the group's comedic voice.
They called you to remind you that they have your other daughter.
No, other terrorists have my other daughter.
And as far as behind the scenes, Dan Ekman played an essential role as the group's director, ensuring that the pacing and tone of each sketch was meticulously crafted. His background in film helped elevate the production quality, making the sketches feel more like short films rather than amateur uploads. And lastly, we have Maggie McFadden, and as the producer, she was crucial in managing logistics, coordinating shoots, and keeping everything running smoothly. Together, this team created sketches that not only showcased their individual strengths, but also fit into a cohesive comedic vision. They understood the power of timing, visual style, and narrative, setting them apart from the early wave of YouTube creators that relied more on spontaneity than polished execution. With a strong creative identity and a rapidly growing fanbase, Derrick Comedy could have easily stuck to sketch comedy. But instead they did something far more ambitious. They decided to make a movie. So by the late 2000s, Derrick Comedy had built a loyal fanbase, and rather than follow the traditional path of auditioning for TV or joining established comedy groups or shows, they decided they wanted to make a movie. So in 2008, they took the leap, setting their sights on creating a feature-length comedy, Mystery Team, which was born from their love of genre parody, particularly the classic mystery stories that they'd grown up with like Encyclopedia Brown and the Hardy Boys. But having millions of YouTube views didn't make the transition to filmmaking easy. Mystery Team was a massive undertaking for them, considering they didn't have any backing or studio funding. Instead, they relied on their own resources and creativity, using revenue from YouTube videos and brand deals. According to Glover, they worked on Clearasil ads to help fund the project. Additionally, they kept the budget low by shooting in New Hampshire, where two of the members, Dan Ekman and Maggie McFadden, had ties within the local community, allowing them to access cheap locations and leverage their connections for resources. But even with those local connections to help them secure locations, production was no small feat. The group was used to the relatively low-pressure world of online video making, and they now had to transition into the grueling, time-consuming process of feature filmmaking.
When we do the sketches, it's like usually Dan shooting, his brother holding a boom mic, and sort of me taking script notes. It's pretty bare bones, but this was a crew of 30 that we housed and fed and transported and had overtime and legal documents. And we know when we make the sketches, it's mainly the 3 boys. We don't have to worry about like them signing their contract.
The film was shot over the course of 7 weeks, with many of the crew taking on multiple roles, both in front and behind the camera. Glover, Pearson, and Dierks, the 3 faces of the film, all co-wrote while Ekman directed. And despite the tight budget and the challenges of an indie film, the group's strong vision and DIY mentality helped them pull off a movie that felt surprisingly cohesive and polished. I already mentioned that Mystery Team parodies classic child detective stories like Encyclopedia Brown and the Hardy Boys, but it also satirizes classic film archetypes like the smart one or the strong one. Which leads us to our main characters, Jason, the master of disguise, who relies on costumes so juvenile they'd barely fool a toddler.
Hello, I am Juan Franchuebos, the Mexican plumber. I've come to fix your pipes.
Duncan, the world's smartest boy, is only book smart in the most meaningless of ways.
Definitely a hobo. They're constantly smoking to keep their lungs sharp for boxcar jumping.
What?
And finally, Charlie, the strong one.
Well, I guess I'll just have to break it down then. With brute force. Ow!
I mean, hey, doors are pretty sturdy. So when they're together, they're known as the Mystery Team, and they're known for solving kid mysteries in their small town. These cases range from finding lost pets to solving the disappearance of pies in old ladies' windowsills. Innocent and simple crimes.
Question remains, Eric. Why'd you do it?
I wanted to see if it felt like a pussy like in that movie.
But the problem is they're older now, and what was once cute as 8-year-olds isn't quite so adorable as high school seniors. The trio remains stuck in their childlike roles, and their detective agency has seen little success in recent years, and their inability to mature along with their peers has left them socially isolated. The main conflict begins when a local girl asks the trio to investigate the murder of her parents.
Whatever it is, we can handle it.
Can you find out who killed my parents?
Also, as a side note, her older sister is played by a young Aubrey Plaza who plays Donald Glover's love interest. This movie has a lot of weird cameos. Eager to prove themselves, they accept the mystery for their standard price of 10 cents. But their naivety and complete lack of experience in dealing with real-life crimes quickly becomes apparent. And not only that, their complete obliviousness to the grown-up world around them makes getting the help they need quite difficult.
Now, if you could just scan this card for us.
Oh, this one? You can go ahead and shove it up your ass.
You know that won't work, Ricky.
As they continue their investigation, they encounter a variety of quirky and dangerous characters, including a local drug dealer and a weird cameo from SNL's Bobby Moynihan as this borderline suicidal grocery store clerk.
You fuck the shit out of this bread. You don't fuck bread, God.
As the film unfolds, the trio stumbles through the case, slowly uncovering secrets behind the murder and their town's corruption. And in the end, the mystery team solves their first real crime, all the while learning what it means to grow up. I don't want to go too far into the plot details because I really think you should go check this movie out, it's really funny. Now, while Mystery Team definitely isn't perfect, it absolutely succeeds in its goal of bringing Derrick Comedy's sketch style to the big screen, and I personally have a ton of nostalgia for this film. It's endlessly quotable.
Ow! Sorry. My penis.
It's quite competently shot and has a pretty great cast, at least in retrospect. So how'd the film do? Well, Mystery Team definitely wasn't a mainstream hit. It only made $90,000 at the box office on its $1 million budget. However, what it did achieve is cementing Derrick Comedy as pioneers of internet-era comedy. Shortly after its release, the group disbanded, each member moving on to their own successful careers. Donald Glover, as you know, has become a major force in Hollywood as an actor, writer, and musician under his moniker Childish Gambino. DC Pearson and Dominic Dierks continued working in comedy. I mean, they're obviously no Donald Glover, but they seem like they stay busy. And Dan Ekman and Maggie McFadden, they continue to pursue directing and producing work. Derrick Comedy proved that a group of friends with a camera, a weird sense of humor, and an internet connection can go from making viral videos to making a legitimate feature film. In an era where YouTube has become so oversaturated with quick, disposable content, I'd love to see more creators take risks the way they did, pushing past short-form sketches to build something bigger and more lasting. In my opinion, and for many in my circle, this film will forever be a cult classic. And not only that, even if it's just one example, it shows that it is possible to make a name for yourself through hard work and break into what people consider this impenetrable Hollywood bubble. Take Joel Haver for example. He just finished his 12 movies in 12 months challenge, and while I definitely applaud his resilience, I can't help but wish he'd taken an approach more like Mystery Team. I definitely think he could have benefited from taking more time to craft films that feel like true features rather than just extended YouTube videos. I really think we're coming up in an age where things like this are going to become more commonplace, with up-and-coming sketch comedy groups like It's a Bad Idea and Almost Friday TV, both of which are already dipping their toes into a more cinematic experience than we're used to on YouTube. And I really hope this continues. And that's pretty much all I got for you. Hopefully you learned something, and this video was edited by my friend Bisho, so be sure to show him some love. I'll link his newest video here. And yeah, see ya nerds.